What's going on, guys? Jesse Lambros here with MFC Offroad. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of MFC Garage on our YouTube channel. And today we're going to showcase to you our 8-pillar Utili-Mounts for the 5th gen Tahoes and Suburbans. We are also working on a version to work with the Yukons. It's almost like the same bracket, but a couple of different bends because it does have a different hood structure. But the nice thing about this, it is a no-drill application. So our brackets that are machined right here, as well as bent and US spec'd and sourced aluminum, are going to install onto 2 factory posts that are on the hinge that mounts to the hood. And there's 2 versions available. There is a standard and a heavy duty. The standard works great for all of our lighting solutions that we offer with MFC Offroad. And today we're also going to show you and debut our LP-X3s, which are going to be shown in the video. The heavy duty is really tailored to the lighting solutions that Baja Designs makes. So they're LP7s or LP6s, I believe they are, where it's a 5-pound and above light. Those are a thicker bracket that you use just to have the extra rigidity for those heavier lighting solutions. We'll show you everything from installation to wiring, and basically show you everything that you need to do to get it to look as a OEM plus and very clean looking installation. So stay tuned. When you get your package, you'll have your 2 brackets inside the box. If you opt to get lights with it, you'll get the lights and the harness necessary to install those. Some tools are necessary for this installation. Take this piece off to do a nice clean wiring from the driver's side to the battery section. You'll take this off, run the wire underneath it so you don't see the wire. There's some pop rivets on these. With these 2 tools, you can pop those off. We'll show you how to use that tool in this video. And depending on how much paint is on the factory nuts that hold the hinge to the hood, you're going to use either a 1/2 inch, depending on how much paint is on there. If there's too much paint, you can't use the 1/2 inch. You could then get away with a 13 millimeter because it'll fit just good, especially if there's a lot of paint on it. So we're going to pop off the nuts that are on the factory hood hinges and then put the bracket on and show you how that's to be done right now. Before you start to do any unbolting of the factory nuts on the hinges, just take note of the gap that is between your fender as well as your hood. You're going to have an 1/8 inch gap on driver, 1/8 inch gap on passenger. Once you start taking the nuts off, you want to make sure that when you tighten them down, you maintain that 1/8 inch gap. This way nothing is favored to one side and everything looks perfect and OEM. So on our nuts, the paint is heavy, so we're going to opt for the 13 millimeter. And you're going to do it with 1 first, which is the most forward one, followed by the closest to your driver. You do 1 first. Make sure you have it round and start loosening it up. You don't need to take the whole nut off, you just need to create enough of an opening to slide the bracket in. On our brackets, we put a small hole to distinguish between passenger and driver. The hole is going to go on your driver's side. The one without the hole is going to go on your passenger side. And it's going to just basically slide right into this gap, like so. You get this one in, tighten it down, not super tight, but tight enough so you're able to slide this piece right into the gap on the one that's closest to driver. Just tight enough so you can still slide this piece into place. Going to loosen this one. It always does help if you want to have a second person do the install and just help support the hood on the passenger side. This way it doesn't shift, but if the hood has yet to be untouched, you should be good. and you slide it in just like so. Tighten this one up, loosen this one, slide that all the way back in, so this is nice and tight in that gap. Once you have the bolts nice and tight, you're going to repeat the process on your passenger side. Now that we have both brackets installed, you've got your driver's side and passenger side. When you close your hood, you want to make sure that you maintain that 1/8 inch gap between the hood and the fender. And on top of that, you're also going to be installing some type of lighting solution on these brackets. So we wanted to showcase to you our LP-X3s, LP an acronym for light pod, X3, X meaning dual beam, so you have a spot and a flood, and 3 for 3-inch. These lights are available in both a clear and an amber solution, and they are the same lights that we use in all of our fog lights. Super bright, and we're going to show you how to do a real nice clean installation for wiring. This way when you open up your hood, it doesn't look like a rat's nest or an aftermarket solution. It's being run from your driver's side over to your battery box. Everything's tucked nice, zip tied, and we run that wire, like I mentioned to you before, through and underneath this. And we'll show you how you pop these pop rivets off, get this up, run that wire, and make it look as clean as possible, as you would expect with a 5th gen Tahoe Suburban, Yukon, or Yukon XL. These foam gaskets have a small plastic rivet in the back, so you want to pop this off first. A lot of times people won't see that because it's black on a black foam. They'll try and pull this up, and then this will rip off of this. So you're going to remove this plastic rivet first, pop it off, and then this piece comes right off. Once you take that plastic rivet off, this piece basically pulls right up and out from the side. So it's going to come right up. A couple little detents, and it comes right off like so. And that's your piece that you want to remove, both on the driver's side and passenger side. Now that you popped off that foam gasket in the back, we're going to take this off so we can run that wire nice and clean underneath it. And as we did in our last video, we showed you that you need a T10 Torx to remove this lever. Once this lever is removed, this can pop straight up, and we'll get into that right now. This pops right off. And then we're going to use our little pop rivet tool to open these up, pop them up, and remove them. Get right underneath it. Do the first pop. Do the second pop. If these pop out, no worries, as mentioned previously. If they pop out, you can simply reinsert that piece right into it, like that. And today, we're still missing this one, but I actually have a replacement piece, so we'll finally get to that. pops straight up. You can remove it. And you can see that we already have a wire nice, clean, and installed all the way over to your battery. So on the harness that you get when you get the lights, you'll be able to run this wire all the way over to the battery. You're going to want to make sure that you position this wire away from any of the holes, because these holes are going to be where those pop rivets install back into. So as long as you have clearance from the holes all the way across, you're good. Now that you already have your wire ran and it's underneath this, you're going to put the pop rivets back in to secure this to the vehicle and put that lever back in with the 2 T10 screws that go right here. And we'll show you the last part of wiring that harness to your battery. We're going to use 2 friction ones that I have right here that I had laying around to finally clean up that install, and then the pop rivets go into the recording holes. This is nicely done. Now time for the lever. Slide the lever on. Get these started so they don't fall down. Make sure they're nice and tight. Don't want to over torque it. And you're good. We do a nice little cable management with some zip ties, black to match. And then when putting this foam piece back in, you're gonna have the wires go underneath the foam piece. That way they don't sit on top of it. And it gets basically reinstalled like so. Don't forget, you're going to want to put that clip back in so you secure the foam piece right back to your vehicle. So our customer, they chose to get 2 sets of lights. The pod light, the LP-X3, is going to be primarily mounted to your bracket using the supplied hardware that comes with the light. And then you wanted to mount a second light to the primary light and have this angled out a little bit to the sides of the road. This way he gets additional lighting. The beam pattern is both a spot and flood. Same with this. You want a spot on top, flood on the bottom. And these are going to be 2 lights. So the nice thing about these is a harness can be used that is basically a Y adapter with a single Deutsch connector on one side and 2 Deutsch connectors on the other. All of our lights use Deutsch connectors. It's top of the line, and you want to make sure you have a nice sealed and watertight connection to all of your electrical components. So that's what we use on all of our lights. So we have our pod light, primary, and then a secondary that will be mounted to the primary. And when that switch is flipped, all the lights turn on at the same time. Unless you want to run separate switches, you could have one separately designated for the ones that are mounted directly to the bracket, and then one that is secondary that goes to this one here. harness that comes with your light, you can position your relay right here. And then off the relay, you're going to have a secondary harness that runs to a switch. That switch can run to a firewall grommet. That firewall grommet is, if you look at your firewall over there, you're going to see the main harness goes through the middle, and then there's that little nipple at the 7 o'clock position on the lower portion. You'll run your wires through that grommet to put the switch on the inside. Unless you want to be using a power distribution connection system. And we're currently testing out one to our specifications, which is wireless. So you can run all of your accessories right to here, and then have your wireless controller on the inside of the, you could do maybe center console, anywhere you want to mount it, and that'll be featured in a upcoming video. But all your wires would go to this, and this would power all of your accessories. If not, you can just run the harness to that nipple that we just outlined to you previously, to a switch on the inside. The switch that comes with this is a flush mount toggle switch that turns on and off, and you can mount it anywhere, and you do not have to drill. It is using a aggressive 3M adhesive, and it's just a surface mount. But when it comes to wiring your relay to the battery and your negative terminal, in your battery cover box, you can see right here, there is a post at the top that you can run all of your 12-volt leads to. That is a distribution post that gives 12-volt power to anything that you power to it. So to get to that, you basically pop off your battery cover box, like so. And we'll show you where that is. So right back there is your terminal post that you can marry your circular terminal to get your 12-volt power to the relay. And then your negative off the relay can go to the negative terminal post right here. This will complete the circuit for your relay. When wiring, you want to make sure, one, the fuse is not inserted. This way you don't have any power going to the lights after you make your connection for both positive and negative. And then once that is done, then you can put the fuse into it. Make sure everything is nice and tight, closed up, and you're ready to rock and roll. So as you can see, we've got everything installed. Our customer opted to do both sets of lights activated with one switch, so we're going to facilitate that for him next time he comes in. If there's anything that you did see, or if you didn't see, or if you didn't like, please make sure you leave a comment below. And as always, make sure you hit that like button, give us a follow, and make sure you subscribe. This way, every time we drop a new video, you're notified, and you can see what we're doing behind the scenes here at MFC Offroad.